All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Sports Podcast. And for the fourth part of the show, we're going to talk about some of the Major League Baseball teams that are looking to bounce back in 2025, and I think they will bounce back in 2025. So we'll start off with some of the teams in the American League. So I think one of the teams that a lot of people are choosing to bounce back, and I would agree, and that is the Texas Rangers. Now, if you remember, I feel like people forgot about this, and I don't blame you if you did, but the Rangers did win the World Series a couple of years ago. They did do that. They did do that. They defeated the Diamondbacks, and Corey Seager, World Series MVP, first World Series in franchise history, and then last year was just a major disappointment. Guys underperformed last year, especially Adolis Garcia, and I took him in fantasy, and because I could tell you, he was disappointing. But you also had some injuries. You had Josh Young, who got injured. Evan Carter missed some time as well. Corey Seager also got hurt. And it was a down year for them. They went 78-84. They finished 10 and a half games behind the Astros in the American League West. And then, you got Jacob deGrom back late in the season. Now you're going to have a full year of him. They re-signed Nathan Eovaldi. Now, the one concern that I think, maybe Rangers fans will have is the bullpen, because the bullpen went through a metamorphosis. Is that even the right word to use? We'll just say major changes, because David Robertson is still a free agent. He was a part of that bullpen. Jose Leclerc, not in that bullpen anymore. And Kirby Yates just signed with the Dodgers. So that's a lot of arms that you lost. And they signed Chris Martin, Sean Armstrong, Hobie Milner, Jacob Webb, and Luke Jackson. That's what they signed for their bullpen. So Bruce Bochy, you still got him as the manager. He's going to have to figure it out, and I'm sure he will, because he's a Hall of Fame manager. And then they traded Nathaniel Lau, but they brought in Jake Berger. They signed Jock Peterson, and also they have Kyle Higashioka. They brought him as a backup catcher. So, I like the Berger and I like cheeseburgers. I like the Jake Berger signing. I like the Jock Peterson signing, to kind of bolster their lineup. And if you could get your players to stay healthy and, bounce back year from Adolis Garcia, and you got Corey Seager, and you keep him healthy, and you still got Marcus Semien, full year Jacob deGrom, I almost want to take the Rangers to win the AL West. Now, we will give our predictions, our division predictions as we move along here, but I almost do want to take them. But I do understand the concerns with the bullpen. So another team that I think will bounce back is the Boston Red Sox. I think the Red Sox are going to be a very good team this year. I like the moves that they've made this offseason as well. We talked about it earlier when I started doing the sports podcast here. And, we talked about, the Bregman signing. I like that. I think the lineup's going to be solid. You add Garrett Crochet. You add Walker Buehler, Patrick Sandoval. Guys that'll be in your rotation. And Walker Buehler pitched very well in the postseason. But, yeah, we got to see how he is now stretched out over the course of a full year. Because didn't really pitch a lot, with the regular season. Well, it wasn't very good in the regular season, but, he missed a lot of time with injury. So, we'll see how he is over the course of a full season. They did bring in a couple of former Yankees, Justin Wilson and Aroldis Chapman, for the bullpen, so we'll see how that goes. And they also signed Carlos Narvaez as well, catcher. But I like the Red Sox lineup going into the year. And I'll be honest, they were a thorn in the Yankees' side last year. And now they're going to be even better. So I think, they're a team that could maybe, push the Yankees for the division. You still got to respect the Orioles as well. But I think the Red Sox, I could definitely see them making the playoffs. I think this is the year they could get back. But, there's some, things going on with, Rafael Devers not wanting to change positions. But, and I think Alex Cora is going to figure all that out. I think he's the right manager to say, no, we're going to do it this way. But, yeah, no, you got to like what the Red Sox have done. They finished at exactly 500. I think they're another team that you could see bouncing back. Now, another team that just missed out on the playoffs last year, and we'll take a look at the National League. The team that just missed out on the playoffs lost the tiebreaker. They did finish with a winning record. They finished 89-73, and that is the Arizona Diamondbacks. And I love their rotation going into the year. The Corbin Burns signing, that was a surprise. And now you pair him with Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly. And you also had Eduardo Rodriguez, who was kind of disappointing last year, right? He didn't have a good year. And Jordan Montgomery also did not have a good year. But that rotation is going to be pretty good for the Diamondbacks. And, I know we focus our attention on the Dodgers, but that rotation could definitely give the Dodgers problems going into 2025. Yeah, because right now, well, actually, Brandon Pfaadt, I'm looking at the projected starters. You also got Brandon Pfaadt as well. Actually, yeah, where is Jordan? Jordan Montgomery is still with the Diamondbacks. But yeah, he is still with the Diamondbacks. So, we'll see what happens with him. I'm looking now, tossing a bullpen session. This was recent. So, I guess, is he dealing with the injury right now? Oh, minor. Oh, working his way back from a minor finger injury. Okay. So, Diamondbacks got some depth with their rotation. So, we'll see how it all shapes out. But, and hopefully Corbin Carroll, he had a down second season. So, you hope that he bounces back. Let's see. I think that's a team that, they could definitely make the playoffs as well, especially with that rotation. I know the Cincinnati Reds are also another team that people are opening their eyes to. Now, I think the biggest reason, and I agree with this, is Terry Francona being the manager. I was surprised when he came out of retirement and now he's going to manage the Reds, because I thought he was done. But he still wants to manage, and I think he's going to do a great job. They had 77 wins last year. I think, I don't know what the over-under is for the Reds, but I think, they could definitely win more games with Francona as the manager. Ellie De La Cruz is one of the more exciting young players in the sport. And, they got some other young players as well that you're looking to see to take the next step. So, and the Central is a pretty weak division. The Brewers seem to own it, but at some point they're going to get knocked off. I'd maybe throw the Cubs in there too. I really like the Kyle Tucker move. And, they gave Craig Counsell a lot of money to turn this team around. So, maybe with Kyle Tucker, Shota Imanaga, he was solid for them last year. Let's see what they can do. So that's maybe another team you could throw in there. And then I think the Braves are going to bounce back this year. Maybe I'm going to be wrong. But, you had some down years from Matt Olson, Austin Riley, Ronald Acuna getting hurt. Ozzie Albies was hurt. They dealt with a lot of injuries last year. They really had to, they were trading for Gio Urshela. They dealt with a ton of injuries. And even to their rotation as well. They lost Max Fried in free agency. They lost one of their relievers to the Mets. I think it was AJ Minter. But I think, they're going to get back to how they were before the injuries. I think guys will have better years, and then, of course, you get Acuna back, and then you're ready to roll. So I'm looking for the Braves to bounce back. I kind of looking at them as the team that I want to pick for the NL East. So, but I think that's pretty much it, though, with all the, unless there was another team. The Blue Jays, I know for some people, they're looking at them as a team that could bounce back potentially. I mean, they signed Anthony Santander, which I think is huge for their lineup. I think they needed that kind of presence in that lineup. They were missing something. I think Vladdy should have a good year. Springer was a disappointment last year. I think he's starting to fade. Bo Bichette, he had a down year last year. See if he bounces back. I know they signed Max Scherzer to their rotation. They got an older rotation. So we'll see how it fares. But I think that's pretty much it. With the teams I have, the Mariners could be a team. They have a very good rotation. It's just their offense was a problem last year. So, if they can get the hitting and the pitching on the same page, they could be a very good team. But yeah, I think that's it for the most part. We'll dive more into the teams. We're gonna break down each division and which team, I'm gonna have winning it, and look at. I'll do like playoff predictions, or who I have, coming out of the wild cards, and then maybe a World Series prediction in there as well. So, but yeah, let me know what you guys think though. What teams do you think will bounce back in 2025? Let me know in the comments. So we are going to take our final break of the show now. And then when we come back, we will take a look at the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, an overview on their season and what they got planned for the offseason, what they're going to have to do. There's not really much because, they just won the Super Bowl. But we'll get into it, who's a free agent, things like that, what they could address in the draft and what have you. So, for one final time today, make sure to stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Sports Podcast.